A successful weekend for all the hate watchers minus Arsenal. Lamine Yamal's back, as is the LeBron James of soccer. Kane's hit a record century of goals, and this Bundesliga gem is unstoppable. This is DMAC Daily. 32 points from 35 games in charge. This is beyond atrocious. I mean, Marcus Rashford has gone on to score for 3 different clubs before Amorim has won back-to-back Premier League games. Yet, believe it or not, there are still some United fans that bizarrely entrust in Amorim, despite the blatant incompetence on display every single week, despite the consistent failure. But the reality is, there is no scenario where this project ever succeeds. That became abundantly clear post Grimsby Town defeat, but Ineos's ownership are unwilling to bite the bullet and get rid, which is no doubt music to the ears for all United hate watchers, but for actual fans of the club, this is a catastrophic scenario unfolding. Now, I can somewhat understand the ownership's hesitancy to change direction again. I mean, just look at the reality of the club's last 4 permanent managers. They sacked Van Gaal with United in 5th place, they sacked Mourinho, sat in 6th, Solskjaer in 7th, Ten Hag then in 14th, and it's only gotten progressively worse. But what makes Amorim truly diabolical is his total disregard for tactical innovation of any sort. There's no defensive cohesiveness, there's no midfield control, and when everything is falling apart as per usual, the tactical stubbornness remains. United's latest display was the perfect example. They came out with their standard 3-4-2-1, yet Brentford picked them apart from minute 1. Yet under no stage in this match did Amorim deviate. They finished in this exact same shape, just with Mbeumo, their £65 million forward signing, shifting to a wing-back role alongside Mason Mount. Just baffling stuff. Realistically, the alarm bells should have been ringing back in March, but here we are in late September, moving from one banter club to another, and Chelsea remain a deeply unserious team. The club, who famously loves to hoard Brighton players, just lost their 3rd consecutive game to this club, but this result in isolation doesn't adequately convey how concerning things are quickly becoming. That Club World Cup success feels irrelevant now, because bar that one West Ham thumping, Chelsea have been pretty awful this season. Individual errors, a total lack of discipline, and in the face of adversity, Chelsea seem unable to handle pressure, especially when down to 10 men. It's over. And sure, injuries aren't helping the cause, but considering the unprecedented scale of investment in the last 3 years, I can't help but wonder how they're not better equipped to handle setbacks. One could argue that the Club World Cup success has somewhat hindered this team's progression, because that post-season tournament resulted in Chelsea having just a 2-week pre-season. They've looked off the pace since match day 1, injuries have since piled up, and bar Joao Pedro, no other individual has particularly impressed. It's not a crisis scenario, but I don't see the situation improving anytime soon just quietly. Meanwhile, Liverpool got a taste of their own medicine, copping a 97th minute goal in their first defeat of the campaign. Not even Chiesa could bail them out this time, but truth be told, a result like this had been coming. Results-wise, Liverpool have been great this season, but performance-wise, they've looked shaky. There have been very few games where they've looked in control and haven't been susceptible defensively. On the transition, they seem to really struggle too. Adding to the concern, Wirtz has now gone full double agent 07. Now, I've still got my Wirtz stocks, but at some point, he's gonna have to step up, as will their other Premier League record signing. But focusing on Liverpool alone is somewhat unfair on Crystal Palace, who continue to reach new heights under the incredible stewardship of Ole Glasner. 18 competitive games unbeaten, now a club record achievement, rising to 3rd in the league. They're about to feature in Europe for the first time in the club's history. Amazing time for the Eagles. Staying in London, and Arsenal had to ruin this weekend hate watch marathon, snatching all 3 points at St James's Park. It pains me to say this, but I think Arsenal could be the team to beat this season. Defensively, they're levels ahead of everyone. They ain't beaten the set piece merchant allegations anytime soon, but 3 points away at Newcastle is a huge result. Elsewhere, Haaland farmed Burnley. Sunderland go up to 5th, having secured 3 points away at Forest, piling the pressure on Ange Postecoglou, winless in his opening 5 games in charge. Aston Villa won their first league game of the season. Tottenham barely scraped a draw at home to struggling Wolves, and West Ham said enough is enough. No more Graham Potter face swaps. You're done, with Nuno Espirito Santo stepping in, a phenomenal appointment on paper. Moving to La Liga, and Real Madrid have been humbled by a previously underperforming Atletico Madrid. Having conceded early, Mbappe and Gula look to have silenced the Metropolitano faithful, but Atleti stars then popped off, sore of thirst before it became the Julian Alvarez show. His second goal, a magical free kick before Griezmann closed out the show. All the talk heading into this fixture was about how defensively solid Alonso's Madrid have looked, but their rivals made a mockery of that backline. They could not contain the aerial threat and overall intensity this Atleti side brought. Jude Bellingham looked rusty in midfield. Beyond that, they struggled to create chances in general, 0.96 XG on the night, and to make things worse, Carvajal has now been sidelined with a calf injury. It's a big result for Los Colchoneros though. This has to be the kickstart to their season, but they are already 7 points adrift of top spot as Barcelona go top with a 2-1 victory over Real Sociedad. Marcus Rashford with another goal contribution, assisting Koundé, but the biggest talking point was no doubt the return of Lamine Yamal from the bench. Just 1 minute later, with his first touch, he'd already set up Lewandowski for the winning goal. A supremely gifted footballer. If he stays fit this season, no one can stop him. Same with Pedri. Bro does not have a bad game ever. Heading to Italy, and AC Milan go top with a massive victory over the reigning Scudetto holders Napoli. Christian Pulisic picked up the Man of the Match award, having bagged the decisive goal, and is now top of the Serie A goal scoring charts. That's 8 goals and 7 assists in 7 games to start the season. 40-year-old Modric also held it down in central midfield. Bro plays football like he's in his early 20s, a freak of nature, whilst Captain Magnon made 6 clutch saves in goal. I'm not entirely convinced with Allegri's team just yet. However, with Leao coming back from injury, momentum is building with the Rossoneri. Elsewhere, Inter got their first away league win of the season. Juve were unable to take advantage of 10-men Atalanta at home, whilst Roma surged into the top 3 with a 2-0 win over Verona. They've only conceded 1 league goal this season. Do not sleep on Gasperini's men. Heading to the Bundesliga, and Harry Kane continues to do Harry Kane things, bagging another brace as Bayern made light work of Werder Bremen, as Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka marked their 300th Bundesliga appearances together. That is some achievement, but Kane fully stole the show, having scored his 100th goal for Bayern in just 104 appearances, becoming the fastest player to score 100 goals for a club in Europe's top 5 leagues this century, overtaking both Haaland and CR7 in the process. This season in particular, my guy's hitting prime Messi CR7 numbers. 15 goals, 3 assists in 8 games. That is ridiculous stat padding. If he maintains this level of consistency throughout 25-26 and either wins the UCL or does well in the World Cup, this could even be a Ballon d'Or worthy season. Even for Kane's impeccable standards, he's moving different right now. That being said, he's not the only Bundesliga star stat padding as of this moment, with 19-year-old attacking midfielder Can Uzun of Eintracht Frankfurt starting the season in blistering fashion with 10 goal contributions accumulated in just 7 games this season. He's already had an involvement in every single game thus far, which included a debut Champions League goal, and has also become the first teen in Bundesliga history to score in the opening 4 league games of the season. He is the latest talent to emerge via this incredibly talented Eintracht Frankfurt side. I said it a couple of weeks ago, but this club is the most entertaining team in Europe right now. Their latest result, a 6-4 win over Borussia Dortmund away. They're averaging 3.8 goals per game to start the season. They are literally unstoppable going forward. The only problem is that they can't really defend either. They're sat 4th in the Bundesliga right now with the 2nd most goals conceded, but with talents like Uzun, Chaibi, Bahoya, Doan, Knauf, Burkhardt and Vahi, they have got so many different offensive weapons. No idea how their season will inevitably play out. One thing's for sure though, they're gonna make bank in next summer's transfer window. Anyways lads, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow.